Welcome back. Okay, we're going to do a bit more to our box today. What we're going to do is we're going to cover some parts of it at some stage. Let me just show you the lid I'm looking at doing. My lid is going like that, and it's going to open like that. Okay, and I have 4 of these lovely hinges, which will be going on the other side. So these will be going on at the end, purely, well, mostly as a decoration. Okay, I wrapped some of that craft tape around here to see if it was good enough to stand on its own, you know, without wrapping it actually in the craft, and I'm not keen. So we are going to wrap both tops in the craft paper. So okay, I measured across there and there, not centimeters, I did it with inches, to 8.5, and then I cut this at 4 1/4, and then I measured with 1/8 of an inch over on that side and 1/8 of an inch over at the front, and I came to 6 3/8. So that's what I measured that to be, 6 3/8. Just looking at my notes here. Yep. I'm not going to bother taking this off. It's just too much trouble, to be honest. Okay, so we are going to tape and glue. Actually, let's just glue it and then put tape on the outside. Oh, now you're going to be awkward. That's better. Okay, center it as best I can. Flip it over and burnish. Good. And let's tell the cardstock where we want it to go. Okay, I'm going to use just the 1/2 inch double-sided tape. We're just going there to there. There's a bit more glue there. I'm only doing it point to point because we're cutting off the corners. Okay, we're going to cut at an angle and the width of the box board away from the point, just not quite 1/8 of an inch. Best to go over rather than under, because you don't want any of that box board showing. Now let's see where we're missing a bit of glue. Oops, I don't think that tape likes glue. Oops, a bit heavy-handed with the glue there. Now let's just tuck those little bits in at the corners. Just tuck that in. Yep, a bit heavy-handed with the glue there, Stills. Look at those perfect corners. And this is probably the best way to do it. It's actually less stress on my shoulders too. Now, we'll be adding a little bit. By putting this on, we are adding a fraction over here, over the edge. So let's just see how much that is. By putting that on, we have added 1/8 of an inch. No, I don't want that. Because the sides have got to be level with the sides of the box. So I may have to trim this piece down a bit. Unfortunately, I will have to just it's not going to affect the overall because you won't notice 1/8 of an inch gone from the top, really. Not once it's decorated anyway. But if I don't trim it, then I'm going to have an overflow on the sides that these won't fit on. So there's a method in my madness here. So if I had thought about how thick that was going to change it, I would have cut my lids at 4 1/8. 4 1/8, I think, or 4 1/16. Let's just see what happens when we do this. Cover this, and then we'll see what measurements we've got. So I would actually cut the width at 4 1/8. 4 1/8. No matter how flat and stuck to the board you think this is going to be, it is never going to be accurate. You've got to take into account the thickness of this and how you can see there is not going to be fully covered. That's the words I'm looking for. Not sure. Anywho, what I would do if I'm doing this again, I would cut them at 4 1/8, and I would cover, but I would leave the inside open so that if it needs trimming a bit more, then it can be trimmed, and then that can be folded over. And of course, if you're not going to be using the craft cardstock. If you're using ordinary cardstock that might be thinner than this one, then you'll need the 4 1/4. So it really all depends on the cardstock you're using to cover your base pieces. You might use white cardstock at 176. I'm sure this is 210. The white cardstock that's 176. You probably wouldn't need to alter the size of the lids. So it may pay to do that. Just don't forget, measure twice and cut once. That is so important. I've ruined so many things by not measuring properly. Now I'm going to go this way. I'm going to try and just ease that in. Squash that down, and here squash that down. Okay, let's hope we're all tickety-boo. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep crafting. I think I'm counting my crafting time in half years maybe. Not years. Months maybe. I don't know. Just doing things like this kills my shoulders. Absolutely kills my shoulders. Let's see how we have done. We took 1/8 of an inch off that, and my gosh, it is perfect. It is perfect. Love it. Thank you. Right, now let's measure and cut for the insides of this. We really only need, because we are going to cover it with other paper, we just need something to put in the middle here so that it's all flat. But if I leave it, then I've got this little bump. I don't want that. So if we could just get a piece that's going to go in there. Looks like there. And there maybe. The other one will be a bit different. Just that act hurts me. Gosh. Just see how that fits. Pretty good, but I think I can take off just a smidgen there. Just a hair. Perfect. Now this one, see how you go. We're just a little crooked, aren't we? Of course we are. It's just going to make a difference. I'm not worried if there's going to be any little gaps. If they're just like a hair's breadth, I'm not worried about that, like that. That's fine. Absolutely fine. Oops. Okay. Now, before we do anything else with this, we are going to put a hinge on here, and I've chosen to do it with this black cloth tape. It's a construction tape, or not a painter's tape, it's too thick. It is really very sticky cloth tape. I wish it wasn't shiny, but there you go. Okay, now bear in mind that our lid is going to go off the end. How much? 1/8 of an inch either side. So we're going to measure this tape to the width of the side, which is the width of the inside, because we're going to do it on both sides. So let's go just a fraction below 6 inches. with 6 inches. Okay, so I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to go up. This is 2 inches, by the way, 2 inches wide. So I'm just going to go up just less than an inch, and I'm going to come in equally on either side. So that's what I've got. Now we'll put our lid where it needs to go, and make sure the top edge is level with the side, and you've got the correct overhang top and bottom. Okay, and then just slip that down. Just slip that down like that. Now another piece. Probably the same size, so let's go exactly the same size to 6 inches. 6 inches. Okay, just hold this up, and just depends on whether you want it to stand up or do you want the lid to go like that. I think that maybe. I think that's good enough. Okay, now this should reach right to the edge of the inside. Just smooth that out. It's just got a couple of little wrinkles in it, and then push in that gully. Okay, we've got a bit tight. It's a bit tighter than I would wish, so I'm just going to gently pull it apart. Just this top piece, gently pull that away. And then try this way. So that's it over completely. It's still and I think actually it's the outside that's giving me grief. So put your inside in first, or come back and then reposition the outside. Once that's flat, then we'll reposition it. You can lift this tape up probably once, maybe twice, but I wouldn't go any further than that. And then we want to push those gullies in. Do it from the top. Push that gully in. And that gully. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Perfect. Okay, I've got a little bit of what do you call it? Wrinkle there, and I had to cut it off. Last thing you want is a bit of wrinkle. No wrinkles. Great. Okay. Next one. I am going to do the outside, and then I'm going to unpick it as I need to, but it is okay. So we've got the 6 inches. Oi, oi. Now make sure to push this so that it fits perfectly. And in the middle, they are matching, and the sides are matching. I've got a lot of creases in this, it's got to be worked out. Okay, another 6 inches. So let's just put the inside piece in, and now let's move that one over, and then we'll just remove this one. Unfortunately, that's the only way I can think of to do this. So okay. Now I've cut out my pieces for in here. I measured from one side to the other and from the long side to there. And that's what I'm going to have in the bottom. And then I'm going to have the red on top. On the outside I'm having black, and I might actually do this insides black as well instead of gold. No, hang on. So I'm going to do the base in the gold and the red, and that's it. But I'm going to change the sides. Instead of gold, they're going to be black. And I'm not overly keen on the gold because it shows up my glue. No, I don't think I like that at all. No. I'm just going to go with the black. So let's just dispense with this. We'll change a few things. Okay. Okay, this gold piece measured 8 1/4 by 5 7/8. And just to be doubly sure, 8 1/4 by 5 7/8. Yeah. So I'm not going to use this. Red, oops, the red one is 7 1/4 course you do your own measuring, by 4 7/8. I just don't seem to have the strength anymore to even work this machine. Either that or my blades are blunt. That is just a little bit of trimming there. Okay. Yeah, I prefer that. Much prefer that. So, because the insides, or the outsides, I've added black, gold and red, and it's a different colour red, so I'm going to do the same for the insides. I'm going to change this gold to black. So for the long sides, we've got 8 1/4 by 2 7/8. And that's our red. Another 2 7/8. And that's a red. And I'm wondering, should I put a thin gold in there? No, not sure, don't think so. So I don't need them. So for the short sides, the inside, they need to be 5 7/8 by 2 7/8. So let's just go at 2 7/8 first. And 5 7/8. Yeah. Eh, 2 7/8. There we go. Oh, that doesn't look right. and 7/8. You nearly stuffed up, didn't you? Okay, a couple of other things I may change. So let's start with the bottom. And this red paper has got a really nice linen texture to it. It's really quite pretty. I'm just eyeballing. It's important to get the edges glued. So pushing that glue to the edges. That's normally why I like to put a bit of tape on the edge. I should have done that. Never mind. Okay, I'm only putting 2 strips in the middle. the rest is going to be glue. And this should be the exact size. Whoa. I have discovered that if you just go like that, your glue is not spreading. So you really have to spread your glue. I think I'm going to put one strip of tape at the top. That's all. If you decide to do tape all over, don't forget to put some glue on top to give you some wiggle room, because tape is unforgiving. If you make a mistake, it's too bad. Top. And what I should have done is do a dry run, but I didn't. I just assumed I was correct in my measuring. As it happens, I was, but you shouldn't assume. Okay, that's that side done. Next one. pockets. Now short sides. And don't take my measurements as gospel, because they're all based on my original box board. So if you're using a thicker or a thinner, it will affect your measurements. So as I always say, do your own measuring. Use mine as a guideline only. Yeah, looking good. And I will be doing this over several videos because my pain only allows me to do so much, so in one sitting. I don't know what I will do when I have to stop crafting. I don't know what I will do. Good thing I like to read. Oh, what are you doing there? Okay, now I'll be doing this the same with the black and the red. Let me show you what I've got here. I've got this beautiful thing. I used to have the CD to actually print out all these pretty things, but I gave it away because I didn't use it anymore. But at one stage I printed out these two. Now this is going on top of the album, which will go inside. So that will go inside the album. and I will be using this paper on the top, and I'm going to put her, I'm going to cut her off here. I have to cut her bottom off. And I've got a really gorgeous handmade flower that I am going to put on there as well. Okay, so that's basically what I'm going to be doing. So how are we going for time? Oh, I can go another 15 minutes or so. Let's see. Okay, sides. Let's see if I'm happy with these sides. The black. Yep, happy with the black. And then I've got the gold. So I'm not sure about putting the gold in. And then I've got this little bit of red there. I'm not 100% sure on that. So I might finish this video here. Then I can give it some thought and decide what I'm going to do. So I'm not really keen on that. The other thing I could do is make this entirely red, the bigger piece. Got a big piece I can use. So make the red a larger piece, and then maybe if I could just maybe fold this if it doesn't crack, that is. And maybe, I don't know, just do something like, of course I would do it better than that, something on the gold, or just a circle, for instance, a circle just going over. Anywho, I've got lots of options there. Going to make sure that these will fit. They are really just for decoration, these, because they're not holding it on. The cloth tape is holding it. So when I come back, I will have decided what I'm going to do on the outside. I will have decided what I'm going to do here, and we'll have cut them all out. So, okay, that's it for now. And thank you very much for staying with me. I hope you've understood everything that I've been trying to impart to you. Okay. I hope you click like and make a comment, good or bad. I don't care. I just love to read what people think. If you think I'm making mistakes, then do tell me. And if you can see a better way of doing it, please tell me. Because I'm also learning. And I've lost the cap for this. Oh no, there you are. Just hiding. Okay, thank you very much for being with me, and I'll see you next video. Have a good one. Bye.